What's going on, fellow Illuminators and Titan Nation? Well, back in. I'm lorcana, Thanos, the Mad Titan of the Illuminary. If you're brand new here, or if you are not subscribed, do me a massive favor. Do all the typical YouTube stuff. We cover everything Disney lorcana here on the channel. But today we're going to talk about an announcement that was made by the official Disney lorcana team on their social media pages yesterday, where they shared this image talking about tuning in next Tuesday, May 6th at 9 a.m. PT for the next chapter of Disney lorcana, with announcements starting at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So obviously adjust accordingly for wherever you live on this planet. But what I wanted to do is talk about speculation about what this could be. My last video, which you can find in the card up above and in the show notes down below, I entitled it Dear Ravensburger, the Magic is Running Out, a Disney lorcana rant. And in that video, I talk about my frustration of the player base that is leaving, that the lack of organized play is hurting the game, that people don't care about set champs as much, which they do need to address. And just that the lack of communication is something that needs to be addressed, and hopefully is going to address that. What I will say about this thing next week is, the best way I can put it is, I personally am cautiously optimistic, because, not to be that guy, but this is the same company who thought that a big announcement at the North American Championship was that Lady and the Tramp was in Arcasia's Island. That's not an announcement that you use for the North American Championship. Hate to be the guy that's kind of crapping on the Disney lorcana team in Ravensburger lately. I am hopeful that we're going to get DLC information. I am hopeful that we are going to finally get quest information for those social/casual players. And I'm not putting the world's dates on my bingo card. If we happen to get them, great. Absolutely great. People can start planning their trip to the Walt Disney World Resort for whenever Worlds would be taking place. But I have seen some discourse about this announcement, and I do kind of agree with it because of the whole North American Championship thing, as to where EU got a big announcement about Reign of Jafar and all that other stuff. This very well could be just Reign of Jafar stuff. The other thing that's gone out is that, because you're talking about the next chapter, and obviously, like, we will defeat Jafar in the Illuminator's Quest Palace heist, is that this could be about Fabled and maybe whatever set 10 is as well going forward, because of how they phrase it as the next chapter. And so if you look at, I always viewed everything as sets 1 through 4, so the first chapter through Ursula's Return, as like one block, as the first chapter of the story, and then Shimmering Skies through Reign of Jafar is like the second chapter, and then Fable through whatever set 12 is going to be is like the third chapter. But it kind of seems like, by how it's written, that potentially the first chapter through Reign of Jafar is the first chapter, and then Fable going forward for the next 8 sets, based off this example, would be like the second chapter, the next chapter. Also, I've seen speculation, and people are finally catching on to my idea that I talked about a long time ago with rotation, and how I wanted rotation to work, which I do believe have video up here as for that too. If not, I talked about it in a past video. Is doing it in the 4-set block that I have talked about, and then you just reprint cards from those sets. So the prime example would be, because I wanted it to start with Fabled in the video, I mentioned that, is you start with Fabled, and everything from the first chapter through Ursula's Return is gone unless it gets reprinted in future products. And if they're going to announce rotation, I think that is the way to go about it. They could potentially say, hey, like, we're going to do a ban list instead. And hopefully they talk about the flip-flopping of tier 0 stuff going on. Yes, I know Zan just won with Jafar Wheel, but discard is, still a very decent deck. It's still pretty good. And who knows what this next set's going to bring for the color combos that are always problems. But that's just kind of where my head's at going into this thing in a week. So as always, let me know what you are thinking they are going to announce, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.